Namaste, family of light. Baba Sharon here. I'd like to talk about some current events that seem to be escalating, and I would like to refer back to an experience and insight I had. I think maybe it's 2 years ago now. And basically, what it was an experience where I was shown the emotional manipulation of humans. It came in the form of a translucent tube that was rocking back and forth, like how you would have a horizontal lava lamp. And but the idea behind it was that the energy wanted to stabilize horizontally so it could go up, go vertical. And the guidance that was given to me at that time was that humans are being manipulated through their emotional bodies, and that it is coming through, or part of it has to do with reptilian brain and the seed of survival, which we as a species have now evolved to a point beyond that, where if there was equanimity and equality around the earth, everybody would be okay. But this manipulation of emotions, of course, is perpetrating the idea that somehow we are separate from each other, and it is purposefully done. And as shocking for some, or disheartening as this could be, there are those agendas out there and energies that we would call service to self, and it's all about what's best for them at the expense of others, versus service to others, which encompasses everybody altogether, and which comes from the unification or the oneness of all things. So we are in this world of duality, and also now, more than ever, those dualities are very extreme. And so I'd like to share again another experience I had. Some may have heard this before, but it bears repeating again. And that is where the Divine Mother, okay, who I thought to be Mother Mary, but it's really the archetype of Isis or whoever that falls within the divine feminine aspect of the divine, and came to say that the dualities or the polarities would be extreme as time went on, and as we are now in an ascension process. And these extremes would be very blatant. And 100%, I believe we are in those times right now. And the good news is this: all that has been hidden, all that has been oppressed or changed or manipulated, all of that now is coming up to the surface. It's coming up to the surface for us to look at it, to process it, to heal, to be able to move forward. So that's a good thing. However, how we experience it and how we're going to put our energy into this process will depend on really what our experience is going to be. It can be with more grace or ease, or it could be more bumpy. And what the Divine Mother said was to walk the middle path, non-judgment, and unconditional love. Now, easier said than done. But I see what's playing out here right now, this master manipulation of the human emotional body, to promote the fact that we are separate from one another, to instigate that emotional rage where we're no longer listening to one another, where now the polarities are becoming more and more extreme, and where the manipulation is where we're stereotyping and lumping everything into one or the other, where the opportunity is to bring those extremes, the best of them, and bring it into the middle path, as the Divine Mother has spoken of. Okay, and as many um, uh, world world philosophies and various spiritual expressions have talked about this middle road, holding the polarities in balance. And so, one of the things with dear friends of mine, E and Susan, were talking about how the extremes in their different parties, but for now we'll say the Republican Party and the Democrat Party, how now that has become so polarized, where groups of grouping of ideas falls into one camp or the other, which is ridiculous. So I'll just mention that there was a video that went out, this woman, I guess, was somewhere in some grocery store, and she wasn't wearing a mask, and I guess it was the ordinance she was supposed to. She got very, very upset, and basically she said, "You Democrats," inferring that every single Democrat, okay, does wear a mask. That's not true. And the inference again is that so many times I've heard that all Republicans don't wear a mask. That's not true. Okay, but the media and those agendas will promote that to cause division. Don't fall into the trap. What we want to do is take the best of both extremes or both polarities and bring it into a middle road, bring it into a middle path that will bring us into balance. Right now, I will tell you that the agenda is to cause this emotional disturbance and chaos is on overdrive, and it's infectious. It's infectious just like you would have a virus. And so what we need to do now is to breathe. Always breathe, because that's how you bring yourself back into center. Come from the observer, the neutral observer. See all that's going on from one end of the spectrum to the other. And that way you can have the higher guidance, okay, and the discipline not to fall into the emotional chaos of what's going right now and the emotional chaos of extremes. So, Yi, Susan, and I were thinking, wouldn't it be great if we can have a name, okay, that would reflect two of the major parties, but bring it into a middle understanding that's not so emotionally charged. And first we came up with Demopublicans, then we came up with Republicans, and finally we've agreed on the Kratlikans. So the Kratlikans, okay, is going to be the middle road, the best of the two extremes of both parties, where hopefully Kratlikans can begin to get out into the mass consciousness. Kratlikans means you're not going to fall into one or the other polarity extreme. You're going to look at it and bring the best from both extremes into this middle path of integration. And it's the path of integration that's going to get the best of who we are as humans, our ideologies, and to bring back our own sovereignty, that we are able to think and create our future as we would want, because we have more in common than we don't. But we won't understand that commonality if we can't hear each other, if we continue to be emotionally manipulated, and we are more emotionally manipulated to lump things as to one or the other. We are far more complex than that, far more complex. And so we are here today to encourage everyone to start using the breath. That's the first thing to calm everything down. And maybe just take a break. Take a break from the news, take a break from, this dialogue that's going on, particularly when you feel your emotions getting rattled. If you're looking at the TV and you want to kick in the screen, that's a trigger saying that maybe you need to back off. Maybe you need to come into your centeredness. And maybe you really have the chance to look deep within yourself. A lot of this is about self-reflection. Self-reflection, it's so important. There are reasons why things are going and why the surface of things are coming up. It's not for us to get angry about it or to be enraged about it. It's about to figure out, why is this happening? What is the purpose of this, and where is the silver lining in all of this? This is an opportunity for us to evolve to the next aspect of our humanity. It's an opportunity. And the minute that we know that this is an opportunity to learn from it, to go deep within, what are we holding on that we should now release for us to be better people, for us to be a better society, for us to be a better world, the better it's going to be for everybody. And the road moving into the future is not going to have to be so bumpy or so hard or so challenging. So I would beseech each and all of you, consider being a Kratlikin, where a Kratlikin is now the new name, where we're going to take the best of all parties, the best of it, and integrate it and evolve as a society to our next level of brilliance. And with that, I'll leave you and say namaste.